What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, latest and updates, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 2.78% pre-market. So depending on some of the data and how it plays out today, I'll do a PM video, again, if there's a lot of updates. But it is up so far this morning, which is always a good thing because the broader indexes are red. So Dow is down 0.21, S&P is down 0.32, NASDAQ down 0.43. So when it comes down to what caused Lucid to really gain this good momentum, it was a analyst rating. So popping over here for a second, TipRanks hasn't updated it yet, but you have Jonas, long-standing Lucid Bear, who has a 49% success rating with Morgan Stanley, did give roughly 20 days ago a $3 sell. So this is what I find rather interesting because he gave a new rating, as you can kind of see, so kept the same price target, $3, did state that there is roughly upside potential to $10, but changed it to equal weight. So ultimately changing his sell to a hold. So as funny and comical as this is, I think there is some ulterior motives behind this. And the only thing that did come out, I want to give a shout out to 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 on Twitter. He's the one that did find this, but it looks like Morgan Stanley has been approved to be a market maker for the Saudi exchange, starting just with 20 listed securities. Lucid isn't on this list, of course, because they're not on the Saudi exchange, but it does show now that Morgan Stanley and Saudi entities kind of have to work together. So Lucid, very much owned by a Saudi entity, the PIF. It's in Morgan Stanley's best interest to become kind of nice to them. And so I feel like that is the basis of this new rating, just saying, hey, we see upside potential to $10 and we're going to change our sell rating to a hold. That's ultimately all that happened, and that's what caused this. In reality, I don't really care about that as long as it really caused the price to go up. I think that's always a good thing. It seems to be really struggling with 225 though, so just kind of watch for that. Aside from that though, some recent updates, you did have some pictures associated to the NVIDIA GTC 2025. So Lucid Air testing area. So that's going to be between March the 17th and the 20th, 8 to 5. So I think this is good. I personally would have preferred them to actually do a speech, but as I mentioned a couple of videos ago, they don't really have anyone passionate about technology anymore. Peter, unfortunately, he obviously did his thing and whatever. Michael Bell previously, again, very passionate. He spoke at the last NVIDIA GTC, I think 2023, but since then he's obviously departed as well. So Lucid doesn't really have that much passionate tech that could speak at one of these events. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully they do change that sooner rather than later, because I feel like this would be very good coverage for Lucid. But aside from that though, there's one thing that did come out for another update that I feel like Lucid could have easily spoken at this event over, and that is this. So Lucid Oasis did post saying that Lucid introduces DreamDrive 2, its advanced driver assistance system for Lucid Gravity SUV. So of course, I think this is to really show about the hands-free, which will be coming later this year, as what Mark mentioned during the Q4 earnings. And of course, the big basis of that to really allow the higher level of autonomous driving is that NVIDIA chip. So like I said, I think this is very good. It shows that Lucid is innovating behind the scenes, but this is almost like 1,000,000% the best opportunity that they could have actually spoken at this, because it's their technology. NVIDIA's technology is allowing Lucid, the Gravity, to hit higher levels of autonomous driving, to do hands-free. So it's a very good update. It shows that Lucid is doing a lot of good things behind the scenes, but at the same time though, it's it shows that there's a little bit of a lag within Lucid. So good, bad, based on that. So you do your own due diligence and all the other fun jazz. But aside from that though, shorts did increase 1.6 million shares. So far, They're not all that active with the pre-market, but then again with Lucid, what typically does happen is they wait up until the market does open, then they either buy calls or puts, and then they adjust accordingly. So there's a lot of manipulation that does happen with Lucid, but again, if there's a lot of big updates, I'll do a PM video and stuff. But 23.33% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 282.48 million shares overall are being shorted. One thing that should be coming up in roughly a week and a half time from now is also a big update. I've seen some things floating around saying 2 weeks. It wasn't official from Lucid itself, but I think the consensus is people are piggybacking off of what Mark said during the Q4 earnings about there being a big marketing PR event out of, I think it is New York, if I remember correctly. Consensus from what I can see on social media, it's going to be a Gravity unveil, whether it be the Dream Edition, or possibly maybe a looking at the Touring, which should be coming out later this year, and they did reiterate that as well during the recent earnings. So there's been a lot of big updates. My apologies on not doing a Lucid video yesterday, but that's maybe I'll make up for it and do two today. But aside from that, this is just a quick overview of what happened yesterday. 580,000 in calls, 236 in puts, and there seems to be a consensus for it to be roughly around that 250 mark for today. You did see a lot of good buying that did happen. Unfortunately, a lot of this right here, these spikes, didn't actually kind of register here because that only made up roughly around 10,000 20,000 shares for the most part. So it didn't really take all that much to really move it higher after hours yesterday. So I think that rating kind of came randomly and very unexpected. So that's kind of a good thing. But nonetheless, for today, with at 221, and given the market is somewhat negative, just watch for 206 to be that next strong support. Moving over to that 1 minute right here, it is right now above this, so that R3. So just again, another level, just watch for 217. So yeah, aside from that, I think Lucid is doing a lot of good things. I'm actually very excited about the DreamDrive 2. I'd love to hear more information about this, some of the capabilities and everything, because it's kind of funny. I did actually see a couple comments as well recently asking like, hey, what is up with the DreamDrive? Is that still a thing? We haven't really heard anything about it. And honestly, I think this is perfect timing for Lucid. So let me know your general thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Give yourself a shout out if you've recently been buying, if you've been selling, have you just been sitting back and coasting? And do you think that there is some other interesting stuff behind the scenes associated to this recent rating with Jonas? Do you think that it was for some other purpose? Do you think he's turning partially as a neutral bull? Or what's your general thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.